All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to CAGcast episode number 773. I'm your host, Cheapy here in Long Island, New York. And as always, we're joined by a man who can't wait to hear me talk about the RoboCop demo for 30 minutes, Wombat.
I will start yawning now.
What do you mean? It's RoboCop. Everybody loves RoboCop. It's excitement.
Yes, I mean, RoboCop is the best.
I have not gotten more messages about this I don't know what, that's not really in a sentence, but I got a lot of messages about this RoboCop demo and just wrote the RoboCop game in general. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to talking about it later. That's all I got.
Can't wait.
I know. That's what I said.
Mm-hmm. All right.
That was literally my intro for you.
Nice.
Wombat, dead or alive, you're coming with me to listen to this demo.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Dead or alive, extreme beach volleyball.
Funny. What else is going on?
Yeah, I want to hear about Ship's house problems. Makes me feel better about my own house problems.
My house is a problem, so
yeah. So I came home.
You got tired just thinking about it. That's how you know it's bad.
It's not super terrible.
Like there's no duty involved, right?
No duty.
Okay.
It's in the room where the cats go duty, where they're supposed to, in the litter box, in the smart litter box area
that they don't use.
Every once in a while they use it, and I get a notification on my phone. I said that's totally worth it.
That shit was like $60 right there.
Right.
To get notified about that shit.
At least my Wi-Fi is working. So I go in, and that's like where we feed them and stuff too, right? You get all the cat bowls. There's separation between the litter and where they eat, but
it's 1 foot by 2 feet.
Yeah. So I'm in there feeding them, and I look over and I see like a little like puddle on the floor, and I'm like, oh, come on, guys! Like the boxes are literally like right there. What are you doing? And like, so I like put my hand down on it just to make sure it was wet and see if it was sticky. Because
you mean you tasted it?
I tasted like I got some on my hand, and I like held it up to my nose. Right? They're like, what is this substance?
We've all been
like,
there.
What is this? And it's like, oh no, this is not pee. That's great. And then I quickly went like, oh no, what is this?
Pee is better. Pee is better. Pee is better.
So then I like look, and like this is our storage area. So we've got like wooden shelves in there, like plywood shelves, right? That just is like we're storing like our Christmas decorations and tubs of stuff in there. And like I look, and like I see like my Rock Band drums, and there's like a puddle underneath the Rock Band drums. I'm like, that's not supposed to be there. And
they don't leak.
Right, they don't leak. And then I look up like the shelf above it, and I see like drips coming down from that shelf, and I'm like, uh-oh. And then on that shelf, of course, is where we've just like stacked a bunch of books, right?
Okay.
We stacked a bunch of books there, and it's also where we have a bunch of like unbuilt Lego sets. And I look at them, and it's just like I touch like a Voltron Lego box, and it just like crumbles in my hand.
Oh no.
Yeah. And so like I pull all that out. I'm like getting towels and everything, and there's nothing like gushing anywhere. It's just we've got this tubing from our water main, and we knew it was a potential problem because there's all kinds of stuff online. It's this Blue Max tubing.
Isn't that like an erectile dysfunction drug?
Well, I didn't know that when it was installed, but so it's coming in, and it's just slowly dripping at the first like 90-degree joint where it goes from like copper tubing into this Blue Max tubing. And so I'm like, all right, like let me call a plumber. The first plumber goes like, I'm not touching that. Like I'm not supposed to touch anything Blue Max. I got to call like the master plumber to come out.
What is what is Blue Max? It's like a certain type of tube.
It's like a PVC type of tubing, a specific type of this PVC type tubing.
Right.
Now I'm looking it up.
Yeah. And so a few days pass, the master plumber comes out. He takes a look at it and goes like, let me go look out in the yard. and that's when you know it's good. Is when they're like,
Oh.
"Oh, let me go look in the yard." Like the leak's right here.
Right, yard.
And he comes back and he's like, "So we can't really repair that because like it's been compressed, and like there's not enough of it to like fix inside the house. It's only like I don't know 3 inches of it coming into the house.
The Blue
right?
Max tube.
The Blue Max tube. So where it's like joined up with the metal joint, like you can't fix it. There's no way to
Right.
fix it
It's gone.
unless you spend $13,000 for them to dig up your yard and put in a new
A whole new
pipe, a whole
no
new
more
copper.
no more Blue Max.
No more Blue Max or PEX, whatever it's called. I think it's Blue Max.
There is a Blue Max pipe
Yeah.
lawsuit that you might be able to get it on.
That's the one. PEX is different. PEX is fine so far. That you can run PEX internal to your house, and it's flexible tubing that we've actually got that situation going on at our cabin, and that's similar to kind of like your fuse box where you can turn off specific.
Now, is this
areas
Blue
of your
Max
house.
there
sounds
because your home is a more recent build? Is that
No, it's something that was my home is mid 90s construction, and it's something that came about in the mid 90s, and then they went, "Oops,
Oh, this sucks. We shouldn't use this anymore.
yeah, we shouldn't use this anymore." Guess what? Copper is better than this, and so
this is why I'm glad my house is 1,000 years old. It may creak and is falling apart at the seams, but I got old tubes.
Yep.
So-
100% pure lead.
yeah, we got the lead tubes. They're not
Can't,
going
can't,
anywhere.
can't go wrong with lead.
It may be
Yeah.
laden with asbestos, but
So you do get two options when this happens, though. You get we're going to dig up like a 3-foot trench throughout your entire front yard,
Okay.
and that one you can get for like just under 10 grand
Oof.
if you go that option. And then there's the second one. The upsell is for the directional digging, which doesn't tear up as much of your
They
front
bring in
yard.
some more expensive. They rent a more expensive machine.
And probably have a little bit more skilled tradesmen do it or something.
Master.
that's
digger.
what they tell you.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
the master digger. The master digger comes in, and so I figured like by the time they dig up my whole yard, and then like I have to like
gonna
replace
cost you
the
the
like
same.
landscaping, it's going to cost me the same. And like my HOA guy lives right down the street, and so he's just going to be like giving us nasty grams if we don't like have our front yard like all back
Oh,
together.
you have an
immediately.
HOA? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I have an HOA.
That
Plus, you want to
sucks.
see that cool machine.
No, it
come.
doesn't. It does not suck because
It
you know what it does?
What?
Protects you from assholes.
Correct. And it protects you from having political signs in your neighborhood.
Mhm.
No signage whatsoever in your neighborhood. So you have no idea unless you go ask people.
Right.
Just like,
I don't
"Hey,
know.
are
I
you-
think
are you a jerk or not?"
I like to know who I'm dealing with.
Right. So there's no signs, there's no flags, none of that in my neighborhood, which is
No
fantastic.
Halloween decorations, or is
No
that
Halloween
okay?
decorations are fine. You just have to get them up, and like they can go up in like September and have to come down like 2 weeks after Halloween or a week after Halloween, something like that.
That's fair.
We don't want none of them Jew decorations, though.
Yeah. No Jewish stars.
Hanukkahs, none of that
No,
Hanukkah,
No manoras.
none of that.
We allow those up for 12 days. After that, it's enough of that. No, I yes.
So are you gonna get the extended warranty on this new piping? Or
No,
is there?
there's no like
You
there's
get the
no
rust coating.
insurance. Like
Isn't
there's no
there an-
insurance on this stuff. There's
I
just,
thought there was some sort of form of insurance. I don't think I have it now, but as you say it, I'm like, I should look.
it's
into
not
that.
covered under like you would have to buy it.
It's separate. It's separate, insurance.
Yeah.
hmm
No,
But now I
think,
want to get it because you make me nervous. We had a flood in our basement last year that was from the washing machine that flooded half my basement, and that sucked. So I can't imagine. But we got lucky, knock on everything. That was like $500. So to fix.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are you gonna do?
Nothing.
Not do
Who's
it.
this episode brought to us by?
Pipes, hot pipes.
Nobody.
Big,
Uh,
thick, hot pipes.
Sadly,
But not
no one.
Blue Max or whatever that was called. Blue Max
Yeah.
sounds like an attack helicopter.
So
That's
yeah,
Blue
it does.
Thunder.
It's I wouldn't fly in it based upon this, but the nice thing is I think we found it pretty early because this could have been like
Disaster.
terrible. Like the whole house could have just like flooded, right? If this thing totally collapsed.
You could have come downstairs
So-
and have been up to your ankles.
Right. So it just cost us a couple like Lego
That's good.
boxes.
Yeah,
So-
you got off easy, I'd say.
Yeah. Doing all right. Only got off easy. Only 13
Shit.
grand.
I had a guy
I'd be
quote me.
I would still be crying. Anyway, you were saying?
I had a guy today quote me 15 grand for a retaining wall. That's my current retaining wall has
I
rotted
guess I
out.
could have gone that route and just put up a retaining wall to keep the water out.
No, I'm trying to keep the hill from falling and the water that comes with hills.
So I'm glad I've never been so happy that I live in the smallest house
Oh my god.
in a crowded little area where there's nothing around, where there's no hills and there's no.
I can spend
No
10
running
grand.
water.
I can spend
No-
10 grand on this house just like like swatting a fly. It's just I could easily think of 10 grand
Oh, I
worth
could-
of repairs that need to be done that should have been
My-
done.
My whole kitchen needs to be ripped out and replaced, but
Right. We're having this tour come through this weekend, this architectural tour as part of some architectural event. So I've been spending the last like week or so just like throwing a lot of shit out, cleaning up, and hiring people to fix a lot of shit. Because strangers are coming to our house and they're like giving a talk and stuff. So it's been very stressful, but it's going to be over this weekend. So I'm very excited, but I've already spent like over 10 grand just getting the house ready for this fixing thing. Not
I think that's typically what you spend for an architectural event.
right.
I think that's the going rate.
I'm hoping to get like a
I
free
have-
cutting board out of it or something, but
I mean,
I'm not
the
holding my
last
breath.
time we had an architectural event at the house, I'm trying to remember what we spent. It was so long
It was an
ago.
earthquake. Well,
Mhm.
they asked us if we would do it, and I figured, much like Orange Theory, I need like some prompting to get things done. So Orange Theory gets me because you schedule the classes. This is like scheduling, hey, you have to fix all the shit that's broken in the house by such and such a date, and that'll get me to do it. So that's why I agreed to do it, knowing that it's going to be very stressful and cost me money, but at least I knew I would get it done. So that's what's happening. I'm getting it done. And we're painting. And there's a lot of paint. But yeah. So I'll let you know how that goes next weekend. See if anybody stole anything. And finally, I have a good use for those 2 Ring cameras that I bought like during last Prime Day that I never took out of the box. You can set those up. Make sure nobody steals my Soundwave or other Transformers.
That's fair.
Yeah. People got to be watched.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody better shit in the house while they're here.
That was my threat to you that I was going to come for the event and take a dump in
Oh.
the middle of the tour.
Use the bathroom at least,
Yeah,
not in the middle of the tour.
in the middle. No.
Just anyway. Oh yeah.
Yep.
So what else is going on? Anything?
I got nothing.
Oh.
I'm trying to think. I'm like, is there anything going on in my life that's exciting? Not really.
I have a quick story for a first in my life. In 50,
Oh, I do have one, but you go first. Mine's short and dumb.
mine is also short and dumb. But I was eating lunch at one of my favorite outdoor spots last weekend, and there were all these lantern flies everywhere. Just like that's
mhm.
been happening, as
What are-
you know.
Wait,
You gotta
are
kill 'em.
lantern flies? Are those lightning bugs? What are lantern
Oh.
flies?
There are these.
So
I'll explain.
they're called red lantern flies,
Hmm.
and they are an invasive species that started in Pennsylvania, and they're making their way across the country. But what they do is they burrow under tree bark and kill trees.
They learned that
fairly
they actually don't
quickly.
kill the trees anymore. They say it's
Yeah,
not. They said it actually doesn't really hurt the trees that much, but there's so many of them. It's like
But
disgusting.
they breed. Yeah, they breed
It's
like
gross.
it's disgusting. And the government literally puts up signs and says, if you see this bug, kill it immediately. And they're like this big.
They're big and juicy.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
they-
saw one of these when I was in Long Island. Emmeline had me take a picture of it because it was pretty.
Yeah. Yes.
One is
time you see
pretty.
one is pretty. 2 is what's going on here. And then you see their
50
videos.
is too many.
Yeah. when my daughter were, at the high school where my daughter plays tennis, for some reason on the tennis courts, it's just littered with the lanternflies. And they're like, well, in between serves will be like 1 second, and they stop and they stamp on the bug.
But they're hard to kill, actually. Like, they're pretty resilient, and they are gross also. Like, they make a mess if you do kill it. So
anyway, was that it?
So I was eating lunch, and there was all these lanternflies everywhere, and it was to the point where like they're like landing like next to your food, on you, and like, Mrs. Cheapy is like freaking out, like jumping up and screaming, like making a big fuss. I'm like, calm down, like, it's embarrassing. So like literally they're everywhere, and I go to swat one away, and I don't realize, but there's a bee like on me, and as I swat away the lanternfly, I was like, ow, what the fuck? And I got stung by a bee, and I've never been stung by a bee before, even though
it hurts. It hurts a lot.
It does actually hurt. And more importantly, I had just read this newspaper article like the week before about this guy who got stung by bees and then died because he had a reaction. He had obviously a very bad reaction to being stung by bees. He died.
Yeah, it's called My Girl. It starred Macaulay Culkin.
Right. I've seen that movie. And so it got me thinking, wow, like I've never been stung by a bee before. Like I wouldn't even know if I would have a reaction yet or anything. Yep, lanternfly. Shipwreck found pictures of lanternflies.
Good job.
That's the picture I took in the parking lot of Brazilian Steakhouse.
Nice.
Delicious lanternflies. So I read that article about this guy who died, and it got me thinking like, hey, I wonder if I get stung by a bee, what would happen? And then literally like a week later, I get stung by this bee, and I'm like, fuck, it does really hurt. And like I realized like, Shipwreck, guess how the story ends, Ship. If you've been paying attention to my life, you should be able to guess how the story ends.
You passed out?
Pretty close. You had it in the right direction.
Did you throw up or did you faint?
No. It was basically, it was a race home before
you passed out.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I was driving. It was very bad. Like I should have pulled over earlier because I thought like I could fight it. And I didn't actually pass out, but it wasn't like good driving conditions.
So you've never been stung before?
I'd never, ever been stung by a bee before.
Wow.
I know. But so of course I made the narrative in my head that like, oh, I'm obviously going to like die from this bee sting. And I knew like I was fucked like right away. But because like I knew I was fucked, like I was going to get that panic attack, I was like ready for it. So as soon as I pull in the driveway, I just like put the seat back in the car. Mrs. Cheapy was on her phone. She didn't even know what the fuck. Like she had no idea.
She was in the car with you for this?
Yeah. I was telling her, she wasn't even listening. she's fucking reading Twitter or X or whatever the fuck it's called. And we get in the driveway, and I just put the seat like I'm like I got like get me a towel, and what did I ask for? Maybe just a towel. I don't know. And then I just put the seat back, power seat back, went back, and I was actually fine in like pretty much like right away, like 10, 15 seconds. I didn't faint or anything, but like got pretty sweaty. And I was fine. Like the bee, there was no stinger or anything in the leg, and it got a little swollen, but it was fine. It was all 100% just made up panic attack. Like the bee sting was fucking, nothing. And by like later that day, like it didn't even really bother me. So the moral of the story is don't have panic attacks if you can prevent them.
I'll do that.
Don't read anything about anything bad that could happen to you. That's the other moral of the story.
Trust me, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's hard to do that though. If you like to read things.
Yeah, especially don't do that when it's something that your child might have. Because that's like 10 times worse.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna faint if it's I could take care of the situation probably.
Oh, I won't sleep for 3 days.
Oh, yeah. I haven't slept for 3 days because of this fucking house tour. That's not true. I had a good night's sleep last night.
That's good.
I was so tired from cleaning the fucking house. All right, let's do some show feedback.
Sure. Who cares about my story?
What was your story?
No, it's not. It's dumb. Don't worry about it.
All right. What is this Kmart thing? Is it better than this Kmart comment?
Well, it was just last week we said there are no Kmarts left on Long Island.
Oh, we got corrected.
And Cronus corrected us saying that there is one in the Hampton Bays and that it's pretty good. But there's no Little Caesars.
That's why people go to the Hamptons, I think.
For Kmart.
Yes, for Kmart. Well, I went, this does dovetail into my little story. A couple of weeks ago, my son and I were running some errands and we went to go check something to see if they had it at Walmart, and we were in there and we rarely go there, but we're there and we check out the toy aisle because that's what you do. And they had Hot Wheels, Star Wars Hot Wheels.
Okay.
And his favorite starship in Star Wars is the Republic gunship. He's a big fan of the original trilogy. It's an age thing you wouldn't understand, Cheapy. I know Shipwreck does. But don't your kids like the original, not the prequels?
Oh, so not the original trilogy.
Sorry.
Not at all. The opposite, the exact opposite of the original trilogy.
Yes, the prequels.
Make sure you're not talking about Star Trek.
Yes. So
the prequel, yeah, I mean the prequels are fine if you grew up and they existed.
Exactly.
Right.
So he really likes the prequels, and he likes this ship called the Republic gunship from the prequels. And they have
That's the one with the guns.
It's a cool ship.
It's a cool ship.
Lots of firepower.
And they make a Hot Wheels of it. It's $13. It's not one of the cheap Hot Wheels. It's one of the more pricey Hot Wheels, but it's fairly large, like yay big, like 2 inches.
So this isn't like the Micro Squadron stuff. This is the Hot Wheels.
This is the Hot
version.
Wheels.
Okay.
Hot Wheels version.
Macro.
And it's supposed to come with a stand that has the logo and it says Republic Gunship underneath it, and you could display it proudly on your desk. So he's very excited. I get it for him because I'm a good dad. We get home. He opens the box on the bottom where the stand is supposed to be, and there was no stand.
You told this story already, didn't you?
No.
Okay.
He was very upset that there was no stand because they only got resolution this week.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, I'm sorry, buddy. I wish it was there, but in the Walmart, of course, it's the only one they have. It's not like we can exchange it for another one. I'm like, you could just have the Hot Wheels. You still have the ship. It could be a lot worse. I'm like, here's what I'll do. It was a Saturday. I'm like, I will call Hot Wheels customer service, see if they sell replacement stands, and I will buy one and have them ship it to us. I'm like, it's fine. I don't care if it's $10, whatever it is. So I call them, and a human being answers the phone, and this nice woman listens to that whole story that I just told you, and she goes, "Hold, please." She comes back. She goes, "Well, we don't have any stands in stock anymore. I'm really sorry. We don't even have replacements for the whole thing in stock."
But here's Darth Vader to talk to you.
No, what they did was they mailed me a check for $13.
Oh, wow. So you got a free...
I got this, so I got my thing for free.
So Elliot's still fucked, though, basically, with no stand.
He doesn't... There's no stand. The only place I could find that sells it was Entertainment Earth in a bundle with other starships, and that's $75. And
Shit.
that's not.
Tell him to shove it right up his fucking
And
ass.
that's not happening anytime soon. So
Exactly.
if you see any Hot Wheel Republic gunships, just let me know. I owe my son a replacement.
So why don't you give him the check?
I might just.
Then he can stand it up on the check.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
By the way, this guy who says he's like a weird Kmart fan, I'm going to have to correct this weird Kmart fan. The last 2 remaining Kmarts in America are not just here. There's one in Guam, which is part of America. So that counts. Sorry, Cronus. And I've been to that one. It's true.
I
That's
know.
some trivia.
My son is sneaking his way into the camera frame.
Oh, what, does he have his pants on?
He did.
Does he have that Star Destroyer?
I don't know where his Republic gunship is.
Whatever it is, I already forgot what it was called.
Republic gunship. Come on, get it right.
I'll forget it again.
That's okay.
I don't know what it looks like either.
He just came by and dropped this off.
It's that one.
That.
Yeah.
Oh. You don't need a stand for that. What do you need a stand for?
No, it's cool. It's still cool. I still think
it stands up by itself.